Hello everybody, welcome to a reaction video. So, it's a bit awkward. I've literally just come from playing the Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time demo that's just released, so I've been basically pouring out all my hours and time into that and really getting to know that game, and I love it, by the way. Very good Crash game, really looking forward to the full release of that. But I had no idea that there was actually a PlayStation 5 event going on today, so I was completely unaware of these two things that I wanted to see from this happening. And of course, as a result, I was messaged by a couple of friends of mine and so on, telling me, that there's a new Harry Potter game that's just come out. I was like, wait, what? Which means there's a new Harry Potter game? What are you on about? Anyway, so I'm sure most of you who have followed my channel know by now that I love the Harry Potter games, right? I actually love them. I've loved them for years, since I was a kid, and I still love them till today. And of course, if somebody mentions something about Harry Potter, I've got to have a look at it, right? Yes, so this is Hogwarts Legacy. This was the newly announced Harry Potter sort of game that's coming out. I know nothing about this yet. I haven't even seen this trailer, so this is going to be completely new for me, as well as hopefully for some of you as well. So if you guys want to see the reveal trailer for itself, just without me talking and reacting to it, I'll leave a link to that down in the description of this video so you guys can go and watch that for yourselves. Otherwise, I'm going to do a bit of a reaction to this and see what it's like. So, yeah, well, let's have a look at this trailer. Hopefully this will be really good. I know nothing about this, so here we go. Portkey Games are involved with it. And Avalanche, so that rumour was true then. That's cool.
Magic, both beautiful and powerful, binds together our long history.
God, that's really nice looking
That
graphics.
common bond we share is the legacy of Hogwarts.
Ooh, that looks really impressive. Actually, really, really impressive.
Now it is time to add your own story to these hallowed halls.
Okay, so it's set before Harry Potter.
And
I can tell by the date.
Shape the future of the wizarding world. Every corridor, every portrait,
That's cool.
every stone in this castle tells the story of witches and wizards who came before. Here
Looks
you will
impressive.
meet lifelong
Really does.
friends and grow into your own magical abilities in the classrooms of the world's most talented professors. And while your journey begins at Hogwarts, brewing potions, taming fantastic beasts,
That's a bit cool.
and mastering spells, there is a larger world beyond these walls.
That looks
A
great.
world filled
look
with
at them.
dangers you can't
Look at
yet
the Dementors.
imagine. An ancient knowledge long gone from this
That's
world.
cool. That's awesome. Alright. The Kings and Props, there's some
Strange and
great effects
mysterious
here.
talent you possess may be the key to unlocking this dormant power. Your potential
Look at the troll.
is limitless. But what form will it take?
Dragon.
The journey
spider.
ahead will reveal what
God,
you
dragon
stand
looks
for.
really good.
The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
That's impressive. Actually, tell you what, let's see if there's anything else. So it comes out in 2021, alright.
PlayStation.
So, hold on, I need to see this. Okay, right. Sorry, the camera is slightly in the way of the text, so I can really see it. But anyway, I hope this isn't a PlayStation exclusive. Granted, if it is, I'll get a PS5 at some point and definitely play this. But, man, that's really impressive. I know I probably didn't talk too much in that compared to what you were expecting, but it's mainly just because I'm kind of taken awe by what I've seen literally, this looks so impressive. I mean, obviously, if you've been in a Harry Potter video game fan base for a long time, like me, since back when the first game released a long time ago, right? We've always wanted an open world related Harry Potter game, right? Or some form of game where you could free roam around everything related to the Harry Potter universe. And like for years, we've been asking for this and we've never seen one. And here we finally have it. And it looks absolutely incredible. Like, I can't imagine, honestly, the amount of time they must have spent doing this. Like, it looks huge. It really looks huge. This could be a groundbreaking game in the Harry Potter franchise. Now, the good thing that I want to go back to here, and I'll see if I can find it in the trailer. Where was it? It's about here, wasn't it? Let's see if I can resume it and see. Here, that's where it is. So I wanted to point this out for everyone in case some people didn't notice it, and I did comment on it at the beginning as well, where it says Hogwarts late 18,000s, right? So I think this is a very important point to highlight, as of course this is set by that date, by definition, by that date is set before any of the events of Harry Potter have happened yet, which is great. And they almost explain that at the end, how you set up the events by the sounds of things with this game for effectively Harry Potter to happen and so on, or parts of it anyway. So I think that's a really important point to highlight, because my biggest concern always with an open world Harry Potter related game was if you strictly made it to the time period of actually Harry Potter itself. It would have been a bit of a mess to try and, how should we put it, actually allow that free roam expansion, like fully, to go outside of, Hogwarts and things as well. I think it would have been very limited because of how restricted it is to the actual books and the films and so on as well. And yeah, well, I'm glad that they're doing their own thing here and doing, by the looks of things, completely their own story and their own direction, which is great. I'm glad they're doing that, because that now basically gives them the ability to do whatever they like. And that's always a good thing if you're developing a game, to not have a restriction to what you're allowed to develop. So to actually be able to go and basically use your imagination wherever you like with this is perfect. And this is the perfect IP to be able to do that with as well. And it's obvious from within the trailer that we're obviously going to be going outside of Hogwarts as well. As again, if I can find it, this bit here specifically, obviously there are other bits with the trolls and that as well, but like this bit here in this cave with these skeletons, I presume these are meant to be either the charm skeletons that, if you've played the Prisoner of Azkaban on PC, we saw them in that, or they're possibly meant to be the monsters that we actually see in the Half-Blood Prince. There's, I can't remember their names, but like in the water where Dumbledore and Harry go to get one of the Horcruxes, which ends up not being a Horcrux, basically. You fight off these sort of skeleton creatures if you're playing the game, but of course in the film, Harry tries to fight them off and so on. These look a little bit like them, so I'm not sure which one they are, but it's really cool to see them here, and they actually look pretty creepy, to be fair, so that's really cool to see. I was impressed by this. I was very impressed by this, actually. And again, skipping forward here to the Dementors. There they are. I like this. I like this a lot. Look at those Dementors. I mean, we've seen a lot of Dementors, obviously, within the Harry Potter games over time. And I think, to be honest, I know it's rare for me to ever give some form of credit to the Deathly Hallows games, but I think the most accurate Dementor design that we ever really got was, to be honest, in my opinion, like in a scary looking way as well, was the Deathly Hallows games. I think it was the first Deathly Hallows game. They had Dementors flying around the Ministry of Magic in it, and they actually looked fairly creepy in that, and to be honest, looked like Dementors, acted like Dementors. If you played the Prisoner of Azkaban games, while the Dementors look kind of like the Dementors within the film, not fully, but kind of like them, they have this thing where they don't float around like they normally do, right? The Dementors sort of fly about everywhere. In the games back then, they were quite restricted and sort of stayed up straight like this. We're just leading every once in a while, to attack you, and there was none of this flying about. Whereas here, what we see in the trailers, we actually see these Dementors flying about, which is really cool. And we got that in the Deathly Hallows Part 1 game a little bit as well. So I'm glad to see we've actually got some creepy designs for the Dementors here, and I like this. I really like this a lot. So I'm happy to see that. And in general, I think the creature designs in this look really, really well done. I mean, the whole game in itself looks impressive. The graphics of this look great. I mean, it stands out so well, and I love that. I mean, look at this creature here, right? I mean, oh yeah, this wall as well. I'm actually going to play this bit. I'll mute it just for the minute. But, I mean, look at that. Look at this as well. Look at this wall. And actually, yeah, no, carry on. This bit here as well, the bridge. Look at that. Like, just the effects, right, of these bridges and things that are flying around. It's such a cool addition to this game. You see, like, we never got to see this sort of thing with the past Harry Potter games, really. I mean, we saw like aspects of it, I suppose, but we never really got to fully see it. And this is just, there's no limits here, right? Technology has moved on a lot since the past Harry Potter games, and we can do so much more now with games, right? And like, just being able to see this in itself is quite physically, to me anyway, quite breathtaking, as we really have not seen this fully utilized in Harry Potter games in the past. So actually to see that, it's really impressive. And I mean, I can't wait to see more of that actually in the game itself. I think that's going to be one of the biggest awe factors for me, is just being able to see these. I mean, they're so cool. So I have to give them massive props for that. But also, again, I just want to point out the creature design. I mean, look at this thing. Look at it. That's got such detail to it. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, this is nuts. This is truly nuts. I've never thought I'd see any form of Harry Potter game that has this amount of detail in it. So I'm seriously impressed by the detail of this. And I can kind of tell at this point that they've been working on this for a while. And some of you might know that I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago now. I can't remember exactly. It was a while ago. There was a leak about this game being in development. There was only the one leak of basically some footage of what looked like an open world Harry Potter game at that time. We didn't really know anything about it. It was such a small leak. But yeah, we saw some of this sort of aspect here, and I mean, you can see it now. It looks a lot more impressive, and oh man. Oh, this is great. This is just, this is everything that I basically wanted to see from a Harry Potter game for the future. Even this troll here. I mean, look at the troll. Look at it. It's crazy how awesome it looks. It looks so well done. Oh, man. I can't get over the graphics of this. I really can't. It's just so well done. And the dragon as well. I have to point out the dragon. Look at that. That's perfect. It's definitely a very, very... It looks nice, this game, It looks really nice. It looks perfect. I mean, it's everything that any Harry Potter video game fan possibly could have ever wanted. As the new game goes, anyway. And considering the last Harry Potter game that we got, excluding the Lego ones for the moment, but the last one that we really got was Connect Harry Potter. I mean, there was like those Move ones for the PlayStation 3, but I don't count those. I'm gonna go with Connect Harry Potter as the last somewhat main game, right? I mean, we all know how that turned out. So just to see how far we've come since then is staggering, and I mean, this is just going to completely blow pretty much, I think, at this point, from Goblet of Fire up to, well, Connect Harry Potter, and the others a bit from beyond that. It's going to blow those out of the water, and they'll be completely overtaken by this game. I can already tell that from just looking at this trailer, I could tell that this is going to completely wipe those off on the floor. As for the earlier Harry Potter games, I don't know. You see, I have a lot of nostalgia for those games, of course. But I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see more from this to see what it can provide for that. But as it stands, I think we could be potentially seeing possibly the next best Harry Potter related game here. I mean, maybe it's not going to be the best, and it'll be a very good one, but not as good as the earlier games. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I have a lot of faith in this, and after just seeing this on itself, just from this one trailer alone, it's impressive. Really impressive. But I also want to, I think I just have to say fully here, well done to Portkey Games, Avalanche, and Warner Brothers here for actually listening to the fans and bringing us what we've always asked for, which is an open world Harry Potter game. Thank you for listening to us and actually giving us what we want. And you probably delivered more than what we were even thinking we would get, quite frankly. So thank you so much for this. But I mean, this truly does look so impressive. It's crazy. And I have to also say well done to you for keeping this as much of a secret as you have. Because obviously, if you look at most games these days, there's always a leak, right, beforehand about, this game's coming out, or this map is coming out from this game, etc., etc. And we see it all the time. And it ruins the surprise, right? Whereas this was such a well-kept secret. I think everyone can agree with me on this one, and I'll be amazed if you don't agree that this is such a well-kept secret. We've only seen one leak from this, and it was years ago. And to be honest, it's probably changed since that leak even happened. A lot. So I have to say this was the most incredibly well-kept secret, and possibly the best-kept gaming secret of all time. Ever. This was incredible. I have to give them serious props for keeping this such a secret, because it really made that whole reveal just that much better. So thank you for managing to somehow pull that off in a time where in the games industry everything gets leaked. So seriously, thank you for that. It's such a welcoming surprise to see this. It really is. And I mean, I just can't wait to see more of this, to be honest. I think this could truly be one of the greatest Harry Potter games to ever exist. And I think most people could probably enjoy this a lot. This will also be the first Harry Potter related game where we can actually properly, I presume anyway, have a lot of people online together. Maybe not, but it sort of comes across that way. Possibly that's not going to be the case. I don't know. So we'll have to see further down the line. But I have a feeling it probably will be. So we'll see. Either way, this looks incredible. It really does. The only thing I will just quickly point out, and I think it's fair to point it out because I think it's important. Some people might not agree with me, but hey, I do this not to obviously, point out negative stuff to a game or anything like that, not by any means. I do this just because it's a slight concern of mine that hopefully will not even be important and won't be relevant whatsoever, but it was the change in frame rate. And I'll demonstrate here. Let's go from this bridge bit. So as you can see, the frame rate looks very smooth here and looks perfect. And then here it feels a bit choppy. Just a bit. See it again here, nice and smooth, very smooth. And then look at this. This is really quite choppy. It feels slow, right? Now, like I said, it could just be me, pointing out the obvious here. And I know console players probably don't care as much as PC players, but to me, when you have a frame rate that goes up and down, or you have a frame rate that's locked and a bit of a choppy frame rate in places, or so on, it can be a real for me anyway, it could be a real downturn to a game, as to me it makes it difficult to play it if you're used to games running at a higher frame rate, right? To me, I know a lot of people obviously go on about graphics being the best part of games, and hey, don't get me wrong, graphics looks great in games when it looks good, but for me, the most important part, other than obviously the gameplay and the story and things, is the frame rate. If your game's frame rate performs at a good frame rate, I'm very happy. If it's up and down, I can bear it in places. If it's really bad, then I've got a problem with it basically, and I don't want to play it because most of the time, if they're really bad, i.e., they're capped at like 30 frames or lower, especially if they have motion blur turned on as well, it actually tends to make me feel kind of physically ill to the point where I don't want to play it all the time. And I tend to sort of play it in chunks, and it keeps me away from the game basically, which I never want to do, right? I want to sit in the game, I want to play through it, and I want to play through it consistently. I don't want to have to keep going back and forth off of it. Now, hopefully, by the looks of things, this game is going to run at a nice frame rate. It looks very positive, most of it, for its frame rate. Just those bits where it has a drop in frames. Now, this could be two things. This could be them deliberately slowing it down for the video, which is fair enough. I totally get that. If they want to show something off in a bit more detail, they'll slow it down, which is possibly what they've done there. Or it could be footage from a much earlier build of it, just thrown in here because it looked really good when they filmed it at the time and they thought they'd put it in here, which is fine. And of course, there's still plenty of time. This is still being worked on, and it will come out in 2021 at some point. So, we've still got time yet, and potentially that stuff will be all gone by the time we get there. But it's just a note of concern for me at the moment that I just wanted to point out. It's not a huge concern, in my opinion, because most of this trailer, runs fine. But it's something I wanted to point out. And please don't take it in a full-on negative way, because that's not the way it's meant to be going at all. It's just me pointing out a fact that I think is quite important and relevant. So, yeah, there is that. But otherwise, all around, I think this does look very impressive. It really, I think, could have so much potential. And I think we really have got a true next generation Harry Potter related game here. So this is going to be great, I think. This will be great. And yeah, well, it's everything that I ever wanted. I'm sure it's everything that most other fans wanted as well. So, I mean, what more do you need, I suppose, at this point? But anyway, there you go. So that's my reaction to the most recently announced Hogwarts Legacy. And, well, I guess some people will agree with me on that. Some people might not. But hey, that's just all my views on it. And I'll be interested to see what you guys think about this trailer as well. Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was good? Did you get excited by the potential, open world Harry Potter game that's coming? Or are you a little skeptical on it? Or potentially don't want to, see one of those games? It'll be interesting to see your opinions on it. And I think while we're here, I will say this at the end because I think it's important. And this is not to, again, sort of complain that we're not getting something else or whatever. Not at all. I just want to point out something here, which I think Warner Brother Games, if you watch this or listen to it at all, I think this is important. And quite frankly, while I obviously want all the time spent working on this, because obviously this is the new project, this is important, we need to get this right, this needs to be a great game in the Harry Potter universe in order to bring this franchise back from its sort of, shall we say, dormant / downturn that it has had in the past, not recently, but, in the past. I think there is one other thing that I want to point out here, which is the previous Harry Potter games themselves. And while obviously most people who watch my Harry Potter videos know that I create guides on how to fix those games for PC, for people that want to play them, and in general do try to get the best gameplay I can for everyone. I do want to point out to you, Warner Brothers, that those games are becoming incredibly difficult to play on PC, and to be honest, for anybody out there to just play them. Yeah, granted, you could get, I don't know, like a PS2 or something to go and play them, but hell, even getting some of those games in general in certain countries is difficult now. Just getting them on the PS2 in general can be tough. There's all sorts of limitations. Hell, even displays now are tough to get PS2s to work with. It's all got some kind of factor that makes life a bit difficult now. And in particular, for me on PC anyway, from what I've experienced, is basically none of the Harry Potter games work well or properly anymore on PC. Literally none of them. That you have to have workarounds in order to make them work now. And that bothers me. It bothers me a lot because they're great games. I think, personally, everyone should be able to experience those Harry Potter games, whether you think the later on ones are terrible or not. Same with the earlier ones, lots of fond memories on those, lots of people love those earlier games. And the fact that we are now basically limited to having to do serious workarounds for some of them as well, to get them to work on PCs now, is just kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I'm sorry, it really is. And we really shouldn't be having to do that. So, while I obviously want all of the work to be put into Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm really excited for this project and want to see what it has to offer, I do want to ask this of you as well, Warner Brother Games, because I think it's important. I think that you should consider people that never got to play these old Harry Potter games back in the days that might want to play them. You should also consider the people that did play them or not that want to play them again, like they always could in the past. And I think it's important to basically get them to be accessible to everyone. Yes, you can buy them on a disc, but the disc doesn't work most of the time because there's some form of, like, I don't know, it could be the DRM that's breaking the game from being installed properly. It could be some graphical problem. There's all sorts of issues, right? I asked this of you, basically, Warner Brother Games, and I understand that, there's a whole rights issue and so on involved in this, and hey, I appreciate that, I really do. But even if you could just at least put these games, the Harry Potter series, onto Steam or onto GOG, whatever it may be, and just briefly, and again, I know it takes a lot of effort to sort these things out, and time and money, but sort out the problems that make those games not work properly on modern day hardware so that they can at least be played again properly by everyone, then seriously, not only will you be obviously making me happy, and I will be eternally grateful for you for this, but every other fan out there who has played those games in the past, or every other Harry Potter fan that wants to play them, I can promise you will be fully, eternally grateful to you for doing this. And I'm not even asking for a remaster of these. Hell, that would be even more awesome, quite frankly, if we got remasters of the first 3 Harry Potter games or whatever. Right, that would be incredible. That's like the dream, right? But I don't expect that. I just would love it if we were able to access these Harry Potter games easily and be able to actually play them properly on PC. Now, again, for the console people, they also have a problem there. And to be honest, I don't know how you could get around that other than backwards compatibility or remastering those games for consoles. That's really all I can think of for that, really, I'm afraid. But I know that for PC players, at least, there is a way that you could fix the problems that exist currently and put them up for sale on a place that is as popular as Steam or GOG, that has lots of users on it who download their games from there constantly and buy all their games on there and like to have everything in one place. That would be the perfect way to do it. And it would be a true dream to me if I ever saw that happen. If I loaded up Steam one day and I saw every single Harry Potter game just on the storefront that I could buy and download without any issues to launch them or anything like that, that would be the best thing in the world. And hey, even if Harry Potter 1, 2, and 3 had a workshop for all the custom maps that exist currently, that would be an even better bonus. You know, all these things would be absolutely incredible. I appreciate that we need to move on in the gaming industry and look at new games. Of course I do. I really appreciate that. But I also think we should still keep an eye on the past. And, you know, we still do in the industry keep an eye on the past games. And hell, even Warner Brothers yourselves, you've done the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum and City, and remastered those. You even had a part, I'm sure, to play in the Lego Harry Potter games being remastered and brought back. So I think it would be good, and it would really help the Harry Potter video game fan base, which, in all honesty, is in a bit of a messy state because it doesn't know how to even play most of the games anymore. It would really help to sort that out. And there are so many people that would want to play those games again, and people that genuinely haven't had the chance to experience it that would want to play it. So I can promise you it would be worthwhile, but of course I don't expect action on that straight away, not at all. I don't even expect action on it ever, but hey, if it happens, it happens, and I'll be extremely grateful for that, as I'm sure every other Harry Potter video game fan would be as well. I want the time to be spent on Hogwarts Legacy. This game looks incredible. I want this to really succeed. I really do, because this could bring about far more Harry Potter games further down the line, which is something that we all want. So seriously, I want the time to be spent on this, but I would love it if we don't completely neglect and forget about the past Harry Potter games as well. I still think we should keep an eye on them, but that's just me. I have to congratulate Warner Brothers Games, I have to congratulate Portkey Games, and I have to congratulate Avalanche for just coming up with this game. Hogwarts Legacy truly does look very impressive from this trailer. I never expected to see something like this ever happen, quite frankly, ever. So the fact that it has is truly remarkable, and I'm eternally grateful for that. So thank you, all of you, for making this a reality and for bringing this to us Harry Potter video game fans. Thank you. I am absolutely looking forward to seeing more from this game, whether that be trailers, a demo, whatever it may be. I'm extremely excited to look forward to more of this, and of course expect me to cover anything on those with a reaction video or more when it comes down to it. And if there's any news related to this further on down the line, I will also be covering that as well on this channel, as you would expect it, because, you know, I'm a Harry Potter fan, right? And of course, everyone loves the Harry Potter stuff, so, you know, I have to give you guys these things, and quite frankly, I want to cover it because I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and sorry if it's a bit of a weird reaction video. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, so it's like my first time sort of getting back into, I guess, the rhythm of doing reaction videos. But anyway, I hope it was of somewhat interest to you, and you guys got to see what my points were on the game overall, and just, yeah, well, either way, I hope you all think this looks incredible as well. I really hope that everyone thinks that this will be truly one of the best Harry Potter games we will ever receive, or game related to Harry Potter anyway. And I think it will be, so we will see. Also, just a quick little announcement at the end here. For anyone that was waiting for the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban on PC Optimation Guide, I will be releasing that on Saturday, and it will be releasing at 8 PM British Standard Time. So I know there's been quite a bit of demand for that, and apologies for the wait. I have been trying to fix some other things in it as well as the common problems. So basically, I didn't want to bring you guys a guide that effectively was made, but, you know, could have been better and could have had more in it, so that's why I took my time on it. Anyway, it is finished now, and it will be out then. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next one. See you then.